This is 4-3's treaty alphabet.
A treaty is a promise between groups.
E. Selkirk's on Treaty 1 land. The treaty was made between the First Nations people and the Canadian government in 1871.
A is for agree. First Nations and newcomers agreed to share the land.
B is for barter. First Nation and newcomers barter trade goods.
C is for celebrate. Treaty making was a time to celebrate.
D is for dance. First Nations ceremonies include traditional dance.
E is for elder. An elder is a knowledge keeper in First Nations cultures.
F is for friends. First Nations and newcomers worked together and became friends.
G is for generous. Being generous means to share both objects and wisdom. H is for handshake. A handshake is a symbol of friendship and peace.
I is for identity. Treaty land promises are a part of First Nations identity and culture.
Just. Treaties are meant to allow for just and fair access to resources.
K is for kinship. First Nations kinship includes family, relations, and adopted relatives from the mother's and father's side.
L is for land, and land is a source of knowledge and culture for the First Nations people. Woohoo!
M is for medal. A treaty medal was given to chiefs at the time of treaty signing.
N is for newcomers. Newcomers came to Turtle Island from Europe in the beginning of the 1600s.
O is for oral tradition. Treaty making included both written words and First Nations oral tradition. P is for promise. Treaties are promised between the Crowns and the First Nations.
Q is for queen. During the treaty making, the queen represented the British and Canadian governments.
R is for respect. Treaty agreements are based on shared respect.
Symbol. Treaty medals are a symbol of the treaty relationship. T is today. Treaty promises and right remain all today.
U is for understood. Oral traditions are shared over and over so teachings can be understood and will not be lost. V is for values. First Nation people's values included the act of giving and receiving. W stands for we. We are all treaty people. X is for extended. Today, the treaty relationship is extended to First Nations and all other Canadians and continues to include the Crown.
Y is for yearly. Treaties are renewed yearly.
Z is for Zigaka'an. Zigaka'an means metal in Anishinaabe.